Hi friends, Steve here at Calvary Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. My vlog today is about the Academy Award winning classic 1951 movie, Streetcar Named Desire. And I'm starting at the gravesite of the man who wrote the play that was turned into the movie, author Tennesse Williams. And I thought I'd pan around so you can see what the entrance to the cemetery looks like. Across the street is the equally historic Belafontaine Cemetery. I was here back in 1983, a couple of months after Tennesse Williams died. I came to visit his grave. Unfortunately, at that time, he didn't have a headstone. It was still too early. It hadn't been placed, and I did visit his grave, and I probably took a picture of the grass, but this was, 30 some odd years ago, and I didn't have a cell phone. His cell phones hadn't been invented yet, and I didn't have a YouTube channel. YouTube hadn't been invented yet, so I think Tennesse Williams is just one of the best writers. I loved his work, especially Streetcar Named Desire. That was one of my favorite movies. That was probably the first time I saw Marlon Brando. Man, that was sure memorable. So how many of you remember Tennesse Williams? Or at least, if you don't remember him, maybe you remember his plays that were almost all, if not all, turned into movies. So anyway, let's go in and see if we can find his grave and as many others as we can before it starts raining. Right inside the front gate here to the left is the office, and if you ask, they'll give you a map to the historic and famous graves here. And there's quite a few, and it's very helpful since the cemetery is so large. Once you're inside the gates, you'll see the pond and the mausoleum to your left, and Tennessee's gravesite is behind the mausoleum, almost in the center of the cemetery. As you can see, here's Tennesse Williams right behind me. Tennesse Williams was so popular back in the 60s and 70s. He was probably the most popular playwright in America. And I noticed here on the other side, this was his given name, Thomas Lanier Williams. And you can see the dates are the same as on the other side. Now the sun is coming up over here, and so this is in sun this morning, and then in the afternoon, this will be in sun. So unfortunately right now it's a little bit dark and difficult to read. Right next to Tennesse Williams' headstone is Rose Isabel Williams, and it's the epitaph is really cool. It says, "Blow out your candles, Laura." I don't really remember what play that's from, but I'm sure it's from one of Tennessee's plays, and maybe one of you fans will remember and can share with us down below. And then here is, I believe, his mother, Edwina Dakin Williams, and she died in 1980 and was born in 1884. Let me turn around here. His younger brother Walter is also buried here, but the only family member not buried here is his father. His father, Cornelius Coffin Williams, is buried at the Old Grace Cemetery in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's interesting that Tennesse was born in Columbus, Mississippi, but changed his first name from Thomas to Tennesse, which is where his father was born and died. Tennesse grew up here in St. Louis, but died in Manhattan, New York at the age of 71 on February 25, 1983. In a freak accident, he choked to death on a plastic bottle cap. A Streetcar Named Desire was published in 1947 and won the Pulitzer Prize Award. It became a hit Broadway play starring Marlon Brando, and then in 1951 it was turned into a movie, which was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 4. It's considered to be one of the most popular plays of the 20th century, as well as one of the most popular movies of all time. And that's my daughter Marcia. She was the only one in the family willing to get up this early to come to the cemetery with me. I was here earlier in the morning when the sun was on the other side, but we've been here all day long, so I decided to come back and make this my last visit of the day here. I wanted the sun to be shining on the front of his grave. I mean, this is a really nice headstone. And I was here back in 1983, just a couple of months after he died. Nothing was placed yet, and I just had a picture of the grass. And so all of these decades later, I decided to make another trip back here to St. Louis. This time it was to visit family and go to my grandson's graduation. He wasn't even alive at the time, obviously, if he's just graduating from high school. Tennesse Williams, one of the most popular playwrights of all time. So glad I was able to make it back again and find his grave. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are dozens and dozens of notable and famous grave sites here at Calvary Cemetery, but I'm going to wait and show you some of those in my next vlog. Rather than make this an extra long video, I've decided just to make this a Streetcar Named Desire vlog today. Some of you younger subscribers might remember actor Karl Malden from his role as Lieutenant Mike Stone on the TV crime drama The Streets of San Francisco that aired from 1972 to 1977. He co-starred in the show with actor Michael Douglas. But 2 decades before The Streets of San Francisco, Mauldin won the Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for his role in Streetcar Named Desire. And in another one of those interesting twists, he's laid to rest here at Westwood Village Memorial Park, just a couple of grave sites away from actor Eric Douglas, who was the brother of Michael Douglas and the son of Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas died earlier this year, and his Find a Grave memorial page says that he's buried here with his son Eric, but because of the current pandemic, I haven't been back to the cemetery since last year, so I don't know if his name has appeared on the headstone yet. Mauldin's grave is straight ahead here to the end of the street, right before it curves around to the left, and it's just to the right of the sidewalk here on the right-hand side. Mauldin died here in Los Angeles at the age of 97 on July 1st, 2009. During his long and very successful career, Mauldin appeared in more than 50 movies and dozens of TV shows and TV movies. And after working with Marlon Brando on Streetcar Named Desire, they went on to work again together in another classic movie, On the Waterfront. Mauldin also later appeared in the movie One-Eyed Jacks with Brando, and this was a film that Brando starred in and also directed. It's neat to know that they remained friends through the years. Marlon Brando died just a few blocks from this cemetery at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center on July 1st, 2004, at the age of 80. He was cremated, and reportedly half of his ashes were scattered in Tahiti and the other half in Death Valley, California. So sadly, he has no final resting place to visit. He was nominated for an Oscar for his role in Streetcar Named Desire, but didn't win, but did go on to win the Best Actor Academy Award for his roles in 2 other classic films, On the Waterfront and The Godfather. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather was one of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful films of all time. And according to his Wikipedia page, Time magazine named Brando Actor of the Century and one of the most important people of the 20th century. Brando's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is located near the famous Hollywood and Vine intersection just across the street from Capitol Records. Elia Kazan directed Streetcar Named Desire and also directed James Dean's first film, East of Eden. So it's interesting that Brando and Dean's stars are neighbors on Vine Street. And it's also interesting that Kazan introduced Dean to his friend and fellow director, Nicholas Ray, who then went on to cast Dean in Rebel Without a Cause 2 years after Brando's The Wild One. I'm guessing that Dean probably picked up a few tips from Brando's earlier role. Elia Kazan lived to be 94 years old, dying of natural causes in Manhattan, New York on September 28, 2003. Sadly, his burial details are unknown. Actress Kim Hunter won both the Oscar and the Golden Globe Award for her performance as Stella Kowalski in the film. She went on to appear in more than 30 movies, including the first 3 Planet of the Apes films, playing Chimpanzee Zira. She also appeared in more than 100 TV shows and was even nominated for an Emmy for her role on The Edge of Night. She died from a heart attack at the age of 79 in New York on September 11, 2002. She was also cremated and sadly has no final resting place to visit at this time. During her career, actress Vivien Leigh won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actress, one for her role as Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, and the other for her role as Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. She was married to actor Laurence Olivier for 20 years and is considered to be one of the greatest female stars in Hollywood cinema history. She died from tuberculosis in London at the young age of 53 on July 8, 1967. She was also cremated and her ashes were scattered. I wasn't able to find any burial information for actors Rudy Bond and Ann Dare, But I did discover that actor Nick Dennis was laid to rest in a non-cemetery burial. Actress Peggy Hillius is buried in Kansas City, Missouri, and as of this year, 2020, actor Mickey Kuhn is the last surviving cast member of the film. And this week, I want to give a shout out and an extra big thank you to all of you who have taken the time to subscribe and help my channel grow. So until our next trip down memory lane together, happy travels, everyone.